we are of the opinion that you can't afford not to have fun. And it doesn't have to cost a lot of money.
Right.
But to just ask that question, when was the last time you laughed with your spouse? When was the last time you had fun together? And if you really have to scratch your head like, wow, that's really, really hard, then you know, okay, we got to do something about this. And it really could just be watching a YouTube video together for 10 minutes of your favorite comedian. I will give you that. And as long as it's together, and then after it's over, turn it off and go do something else. But do something proactively to have fun together. And I know this gets really difficult. All of the things I like to do, kind of, like a concert, a play, a movie. My husband is not into those things. He likes to ski, mountain bike, rollerblade. I don't like those things. So there's a very long list in Making Marriage Easier of activities from A to Z. And I would encourage you, look at that list, circle all the things you remotely like, find the 2 things that you both remotely like and start doing them.
Welcome to Wire Talk. Today, our special guest in the studio is Arlene Pellicane. She has written a book, an author, How to Make Your Marriage Easier, and you guys are in for a treat. The whole month of September, we are focusing on marriage, and Arlene is an expert in this field. Her and her husband wrote this book, and she's given us practical ways to make our marriage easier.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Wire Talk. Thank you so much for joining us. Today, we've got a special treat for you. We are talking about marriage all month long of September, and today we are joined with the most wonderful Arlene Pellicane.
Yep.
So, Mom, you've known her a while now.
I have, yeah.
And she has been on the show before.
Yep. And we had her soar, one of our virtual soars in 2021.
I know.
She's just a joy to talk to. She is full of wisdom, full of love for the Lord, and she's always wanting the best for moms and for your marriages.
And she's a ray of sunshine, too.
Ray of sunshine. I love her.
But she's going to be talking about her new book called Making Marriage Easier. And one thing I love about this is it's not just for moms. It's for moms and dads.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people are like, well, I want my husband to do something, or can you please, write something for my husband? And we did an interview with Dad, or I can't remember if that was this past week or the next week, but it's coming. And now you've got a good resource for you to read a book together with your spouse.
Right.
So,
and this is an easy read. It's funny. It's practical. And now it's just going to be the icing on the cake where y'all can see Arlene in person and listen to her and just hear her heart. It's amazing.
Yes. Well, let's give her a warm welcome to the studio, and can't wait for you guys to listen to a great episode. Well, welcome to Wire Talk, Arlene. We are so glad that you are back on the show. It's been a hot minute. The last time that you were on the show was 2021 when you were a breakout speaker at the SOAR online conference. I specifically remember listening to you. You were on my computer, on my dryer, as I'm folding laundry with little ones. And I'm
That's
like,
so funny.
I just love her so much.
I know.
I always go back to what you've said. And I'm just so excited. You talked about technology back then, but today you're going to be talking about marriage. And I just cannot wait for the listeners to hear all of your good wisdom, and it's practical and it's good. And I'm so excited to dive into this episode.
I know.
I'm so happy to be back with you, Emily, and you, Karen. I love, love, love being with you.
Oh, we love having you. When I told you whenever we got on, when I saw you were on my calendar today, I was like, yes, today is going to be the best day. Because no matter when I talk to you, how long it is, whether it's 5 minutes, an hour, whatever, you always leave me in such a better mood than whatever I came in. Even if I came in a good mood. I leave happier whenever I've been around you, Arlene.
Yes,
that's so
for
sweet.
sure.
Thank you, Karen.
So this new book, let me show the moms. This is Making Marriage Easier, which I love. I love the title. But you wrote a book with your husband a long time ago, several years ago. Not a long time, but several years. 31 Days to a Happy Wife. And now you've written this one. So what prompted you to write this new book?
Yeah. So my other books on marriage have been geared for the wife. So 31 Days to Becoming a Happy Wife. That's how can you as a wife bring more joy to your marriage and not just rely on your husband to make you happy.
Right.
So this book is for both husbands and wives to read. So this is a different book that you can either read by yourself or you could read with your spouse. So it's kind of been fun to write this marriage book for men. And I will say, I am so encouraged when a man comes up to me, like, there's these men at our church and they got my book and they'll say to me, I love your book and I bought it for my son. And that just completely makes me so happy because we all know as moms, sometimes it is hard to get our husbands to read like a marriage or parenting book. So very short chapters, funny, kind of practical, kind of saying the things maybe that some husbands wish their wives would hear. So I think that's partially why husbands like this book.
I love that so much. That's so awesome. Well, in the month of September, we are just focusing on marriage all the way through on Wire Talk. So whenever we landed on the topic of marriage, I said, well, we have to include Arlene because she just wrote a new book and I want to highlight her.
Yes. Well, before we dive into your book, for the people who don't know who you are or not as familiar, can you kind of give us a little bit of a high level, like, how's your family? Where do you guys live? What you've been up to? Just a little bit of like, get to know you.
Yeah, my husband and I have been married for 26 years and they've been good years. So that's kind of what made me think like, how can I reverse engineer? Like, we're not superheroes.
Yes.
We're not the same. Like, we totally see things differently. So how is this working? We have 3 children. One is now out of college and about to start a job.
Oh my goodness.
One is in college and one is in high school. So we go boy, girl, girl. We are the very strange family who did not allow video games and social media and personal phones all the way through high school. We live in San Diego, California. Our kids go to public school, so we definitely don't live under a rock, but it has been an awesome ride. So I love to just encourage people that, hey, you know what? This is an option because that's a huge problem with in marriages and in families, right? That we're all huddled around the device.
Right.
Instead of huddled with each other, we're connected to our devices instead of one another. And a lot of that is not because we're bad people or that we lack self-control, but it's because, hey, this is persuasive design. And so we've just really been about, let's get a lot of real world experiences into our kids all the way through high school so that when they do get that device for the rest of their lives, they can integrate it into their life instead of it like everything, your whole life is in your phone. So that's really been a joy and been a fun thing for us.
Oh, yes. I feel like you should get like a medal or something, like not just social media, but just they didn't have a cell phone all through high school either.
No.
That's right. So at the end, our son got it the summer before he went to college.
Okay.
Our daughter, we asked her senior year, would you like to get one? Like, we can have that discussion. And she said, I'd like to get one after my AP exams in May.
Okay.
So she got it May her senior year and really enjoyed it. And it went really well. And then our youngest, actually, instead of being like, oh, this stinks, she's like, no, I can see how this would work. And I could see how I would really be into Instagram if I had a phone. So she's on board. So she's okay with it. She's going to be a junior in high school and she knows no phone and she is totally okay with it.
I love that. That's amazing.
So they can do it.
They can do it. That's very impressive. Well, I love the premise of the book that you invite readers to replace the question, why is marriage so hard, with a new question. And so what is the new question and why is it a better one?
Yeah. What can I do to make this easier? Like if you know we are going to stay married for life, like I made a vow, I am in this for life, like nothing is going to change about this. So why am I approaching this every day like, oh, this is so hard, so hard. What if I just said, hey, what's one thing I could do today to make this a little easier? Because we all love easy. That's why we've just been talking about the phone. That's why we love the phone, because it's so easy. You do nothing and it does all this stuff for you. It's like awesome. So in your marriage, what are things you could do to make it easier? So for instance, if you said to yourself, I want to start exercising, and that's all you did, that's not very easy. But if you said, I am going to sign up for this class. I am going to do it with my mother, which is what I did almost 21 years ago, that my mom and I signed up for a neighborhood spin class. And was that hard at the first? Yes. But now, 21 years later, we know every Tuesday and Thursday morning, my mom and I go right in our neighborhood. We ride a bicycle in a garage for 45 minutes. And it's easy because it's specific, had an appointment. We didn't have to think about it. So in our marriages, if we know like, okay, I need to speak good words to you, then maybe just one easy thing would be like, I'm going to compliment my spouse every day, once a day for a week. And it's just asking yourself the question, how can I make this easier?
I love that. So
Mom and I
simple.
did Zumba together one time, and that was a lot of fun.
Wait,
You
isn't
did.
it funny? Right. And it's
Yes.
so funny. Yeah.
I loved it. Okay, so you divided the book into 4 different sections based on decisions that you and your husband have made and have made your own marriage easier. So the first one of those is play by the rules. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, think of it like a game. Marriage is a game, but it's not winner or loser. The point is you're going to play your whole life. So you have to know, like, what are the rules? Like in a sports game, if the goal kept changing, if the way you scored points changed, if the team players, you're like, who is this? Like all that, you have to play by the rules for it to be fun. So obviously there are big rules, like, don't lie, don't, commit adultery, let's stay married. So there are these big rules. And the more you are aligning yourself with God's rules that are found in the Bible that are for life, not to constrict you, but to give you life, So the more you're following those rules, and then there's those rules that different couples have, like, don't talk with your mouth full, or like, we're going to have dinner every night together, whatever it is, that there are certain rules that are specific to your marriage and you keep them.
I love that.
That's so sweet. One of your rules this is one of my favorites. So speak kindly, listen intently. In that section, you share that according to the Gottman Institute, divorce is highly predictable based on how couples communicate with each other. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. And isn't this interesting? Because just by shifting like your self-awareness of how do you speak to your spouse, like what's your tone? Is it condemning? Or is it like admiring? Our husbands loved us so much at the very beginning because we were so admiring, right? We're like, oh, look, he's so smart. He's so strong. Like, he's the best. Like, that's how we treated him. And then after years of marriage, sometimes we can instead be like with contempt, right? Like, you don't know anything. Like, and that's the kind of thing. So for instance, positive, according to Gottman, he was saying like you show interest. Negative is you show hostility. Positive is you're nice, you're kind to the person. Negative is you're critical. Positive, you ask questions like, help me understand this better. Negative is you're like just hurt feelings. You don't want to know anything else. You're just mad. Positive, so you're being kind, empathetic, and then negative, you're being angry. So just the posture. And I think really if you are approaching your spouse with a perspective of admiration, that kind of fixes a lot. So if it's like, oh, I'm having a hard time admiring things, then ask God, Lord, show me the good in my husband. Show it to me. Help me to dwell on it. Help me to see it. And when you treat him that way, guess what? He's going to start acting also in a way to make your words true. So it really is important to watch the way you speak. They say like 5 positive words for 1 negative, right? So watch what you say, like is everything coming out of your mouth a criticism or what you have to do better? I mean, nobody likes to be around that. And then look at your spouse with admiration. And I think that changes a lot. And then listen, a lot of it is instead of wanting to be heard, to really be curious about your spouse and be willing to listen.
Hey moms, it's Katie. I want to make sure you know about a resource Karen and her husband Greg have created together that's available free for a limited time in the Birds on a Wire Moms app. It's called Parenting Together, a 5-part study designed to help couples strengthen their marriage while also leading their families. In each session, Karen and Greg draw from over 30 years of marriage and parenting experience. They'll walk you through everything from growing your child's character to staying united as a couple, navigating discipline, and keeping your marriage strong even when parenting feels hard. Whether you're in the toddler trenches or you're getting ready for the empty nest years, this study will encourage you and your spouse as you parent side by side. All 5 video sessions are free right now in the Birds on a Wire Moms app. And if you'd like a companion printable study guide to go with it, you can grab that in the Birds on a Wire store at boaw.mom/parenting together. That's boaw.mom/parenting together. Don't miss this opportunity to grow your marriage and your family at the same time. You can find the Birds on a Wire Moms app in the App Store today. All right, let's get back to the show.
I love that you pointed that out because honestly, like I was convicted of this several years ago. I was watching an old movie and like back in the 50s, or maybe it was even earlier, but the husband and wife were talking so kindly to each other.
Right.
It was so convicting to me. I was like, ooh, do I speak that kindly to Greg? And I really started praying about it. And I was just like, God, help me be kind in my words to Greg and not, like you said, talk down to him or condescend to him. I mean, that's never attractive. I don't want anybody talking that way to me. And it really did make a difference, and I wasn't even aware of my tone because I think we bark at, we're talking to our kids all day and pick up your things and do this and do that. So then when the husband comes in the door, we're like, pick up your stuff.
Pick up your stuff.
They're not our child. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They're full-grown adult.
They are.
So we need to treat them as such. So thank you for bringing that out. I think that's amazing.
Well, I also love that you said, if maybe you're in a more difficult season of your marriage and you're like, God, I need you to show me why. Show me why I fell in love with him in the first place, and show me all of his good qualities, because sometimes you need God to kind of fill you back up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I love that.
Point out the reasons you fell in love.
Exactly.
And even thinking the opposite, like I'm sure he thinks about me sometimes like, oh my word, she is so annoying. And in the same way, I would want him to pray, show me the good in Arlene. You know what I mean? Like you put it, always think of it that it's us, we're the ones having to bear the cross, but to realize like, oh man, it's probably hard for him too. And he's got to pray these prayers also.
I love that. Okay. So another decision that you say makes marriage easier is to give thanks. Dive into that a little bit. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I was the girl that watched, You've Got Mail and all these movies. And we're like, oh, Lord, please let him be out there, please. And then when I finally got married, it was like, I could not even be more thankful for this person. And how do we stay in that state? It's constantly remembering, I am thankful for you. Like my life is better because of you. And if you reframe things in Thanksgiving, we know it's the will of God.
Sure.
We always want to know, God, what is your will? Show me, give me a specific direction. He's like, well, rejoice, be thankful, and pray. You're like, okay. And things apply to your marriage, like rejoice in your marriage. Be thankful for your spouse, pray for your spouse. And what got the children of Israel in trouble when they're wandering through the desert? It wasn't adultery. It wasn't really the idolatry of the calf. God said, you have been grumbling against me. Complaining. You say, my miracles aren't enough for you. The fire by night and the cloud by day, you've gotten used to this. It's the same. I look at it in marriage, it used to be miraculous, right? Like, wow, I'm married. This is amazing. And then it's like, I don't like your miracle anymore, God. Like, give me something different. And that whole complaining, grumbling attitude, that's contagious to your family, to your children. When was the last time you had lunch with a girlfriend who just complained the whole time? And you're like, gee, I can't wait to be with you again. Right?
Yeah.
So just realizing, Lord, let that not be me. Let me not have that complaining spirit. And the way to fight that and kill it is gratitude, is to say, Lord, I am grateful. And and again, like we talked about earlier, Emily, if we can't be grateful for our spouse at that exact moment, Lord, I'm grateful that you will guide me. You are going to strengthen me. You're going to show me. You're going to work this for good. And you're always looking for ways to be grateful. And all of a sudden you'll realize, wow, it's not what I don't have. It's, wow, look what I have. So it just shifts everything in a wonderful way.
Yeah. And I just love that you focused a whole chapter on the concept of, your happiness doesn't come from your spouse. It comes from God.
Right.
And Mom talks about that a lot in Birds on a Wire, because God is your consistent and he's your forever. And, he has blessed you with a sweet husband or with your spouse. So be thankful for him. So how can understanding that principle make marriage, back to what you said, easier?
Yeah, it's the expectation, right? Think of it. If your husband is putting that on you, you have to make me happy. Like, wow, that's a big responsibility. I got to do a song and dance every day, like to make you happy. We don't want that. And that's not what it's for. Marriage is to reflect God. It's like like God created it. He made it. And it's like when you have that marriage that is loving towards one another, you're respecting one another, et cetera, it's reflecting God's love to the world in that strong marriage. And just realizing, the source of all that isn't my spouse. The source of that is God. I mean, if you want to find out how something works, look at the creator, and God created marriage and he's the basis, and it's him. It's not your address. It's not how much money you have. It's not your shoes. It's not your Instagram feed, how many followers you have. It's God.
Yeah.
And as we get back to that, then the marriage piece will fall into place.
Amen.
She's just such a joy to listen to, isn't she?
Isn't she?
Oh my goodness.
I told you.
Yes, it's perfect.
One of my favorite
people. You guys are so kind.
No, we're just being honest. So you wrote about phone usage. We talked about that earlier with our children and all that. But the phone can also be a distraction in your marriage.
Totally.
So,
so big.
It's so big. And I know the other day, Greg was on and he wasn't doing anything wrong. We were just sitting there and I said, what are you reading? And he just looked up at me and he's sort of, like, oh, okay, and I was just like, I'm not getting on you. I'm just curious, what are you reading? And you're having your own time, so that's fine. But I totally see how people can get in arguments over it, or if they're always on their phone, that's very annoying and all that. So what is your, why do you think it drives a wedge between couples?
Yeah. A time. So all the time that you used to spend like in between one activity to another, you might be like, hey, what's going on? Like you might like talk to each other or like do something. But now any spare moment in line, in the car, at home, before dinner, after dinner, before bedtime, everybody's like on their device, like catching up on something. So you're losing a lot of time that could be spent together. Your worldview can shift. So, and what I mean by that is if you're on social media, let's say as a mom, and for hours a day, the typical adult is spending, 3 hours on social media. So you're seeing like picked up houses, pretty houses and amazing vacations and really nice clothes and husbands that buy flowers for their wives and take them to Italy, then you're thinking like, why is my husband not like this? So it's really upping the competitive factor, like what I don't have. It's just milking that. Look at what you don't have. Look at what you don't have. It's a feeling like you feel like you have everything you need, but then you go to a really upscale mall and you realize, oh my word, I have nothing. So you're doing that when you're on the phone and you're comparing, you're doing those things. And so when you're at dinner, for instance, and it's the two of you, maybe you're on a date, maybe it's just normal dinner, you would never have a stranger sit down with you at the table. Like, who in the world is that? I don't know. Like, you don't have a stranger just pull up a third chair in the restaurant and sit with you and just sit there. But we will open up our phones and one of us will start returning a text and then the other will see, oh, you're on the phone. I'll get on the phone too. And then now we're both on the phones. And I want you now to picture that phone like a third person when you're on a date, when you're in the kitchen, when you're thinking like this third person is way more interesting than your spouse. They have followed your every move all day long. They can anticipate exactly what you want to see and exactly what will like hook you in that moment. They know, like your spouse doesn't follow you around 24 hours a day, observing your every keystroke. Like this is crazy. So just to realize, wait a minute, I have a very smart other person and I need to make sure that other person is not at the dinner table when we're having dinner, maybe left at home on date night. Maybe you just bring one phone and one phone gets left at home, just trying to think, I will not cave into this. I'm not going to be manipulated into, we have this precious date night, which we have fought long and hard for. We've got a babysitter. We got all these things. I'm not going to let this third person rob this from me.
So good. You really have to be proactive.
You do.
Yeah. You're right.
I love that you said you're returning a text and then they say, well, you're on your phone and then they're on their phone. And then you're like, oh, wait, why are you on your phone? And you're like, well, mirror looking back myself, I was on mine first. So it's just,
it's true.
It's very proactive. That's a good way to put it. So the last decision in the book is take fun seriously. And I love that you ended it with that. So that seems too easy. That seems too easy of a way to make marriage easier. Does it really help?
It so helps. This is probably my husband. If he were to like say, if he just had to pick one, he honestly, if he was counseling a couple, might say this. Because if you are having fun together, that means a whole lot of things are happening. It means that you're laughing, you're connecting, you're holding hands, you're making your favorite memories together versus with another person or alone just because you're watching a video and it's funny to you, so it's huge. And it's what brought us together is that, obviously when you were dating, everything was fun. Let's go to, the Home Depot. Yay, that's fun. Yay. Let's go to a baseball game. Yay, that's fun. Everything was fun because you were together and that was the whole thing. And after you're married, sometimes you get into that rut that says we don't have money for fun. We only have fun 1 week on a vacation. How can we have fun when we have so many problems? And you get in this place of like, it seems like frivolous, like we can't afford that time-wise or money-wise. But we are of the opinion that you can't afford not to have fun. and it doesn't have to cost a lot of money.
Right.
But to just ask that question, when was the last time you laughed with your spouse? When was the last time you had fun together? And if you really have to scratch your head like, wow, that's really, really hard, then okay, we got to do something about this. And it really could just be watching a YouTube video together for 10 minutes of your favorite comedian. I will give you that. And as long as it's together, and then after it's over, turn it off and go do something else. But do something proactively to have fun together. And I know this gets really difficult. All of the things I like to do, kind of, like a concert, a play, a movie. My husband is not into those things. He likes to ski, mountain bike, rollerblade. I don't like those things. So there's a very long list in Making Marriage Easier of activities from A to Z. And I would encourage you, look at that list, circle all the things you remotely like, find the 2 things that you both remotely like and start doing them. And then also when there are things your husband likes to do, my husband likes camping. I don't love camping, but I've come to like it more. Just be I will try that because you like it.
Right.
Don't give up. Keep trying to find fun things to do together.
I love it.
I love that too. So as you wrap up the book, you remind readers that married people are statistically happier than unmarried people in their golden years. What encouragement can you give the mom who is just in a hard season right now? The golden years feel like decades from now. I'm never going to get there,
I'm in the diaper crazy years.
Yes, I'm stuck in the trenches. What encouragement can you give to her?
A couple things. So really, statistically, Brad Wilcox at the University of Virginia, it's kind of crazy. People have found that if you're a college grad, you're 29% happier than the average person. If you have a higher income than most, you're 51% happier. If you're just married, plain married, 101% boost. So even though you might feel like I am just barely making it, you are, believe it or not, 102% happier than the average person in America. And if you get to the place where you are happily married, you enjoy a 219% boost in your reported happiness.
How about that?
And you can see whatever you're going through, if you were going through it alone, it would be much harder. That's one. When you have shared memories with someone over the years, that 10 years down the line, 50 years down the line, when you think of something, there's no one on earth that's going to remember that beach day besides your husband because he was there, right? So just keep in mind that you are creating the things you will actually look back on with a sense of wonder and thanks. This will actually happen to you. Karen will attest to this.
Yeah.
Now that I have I've got 2 kids in college and only one in the home, you realize oh my word, those years when we went to the zoo with the stroller and the cooler and all this stuff that you thought my word, we packed for 2 hours just to go out for 2 hours kind of thing. Yeah. Those were that was really awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just remember in your marriage, you reap what you sow. That's a biblical principle. If you keep giving, even if everything in your life stays the same, but you frame it in thanksgiving and you frame it with kindness, let me treat you kindly, let me talk to you with admiration, a glow will come upon all this just hard, mundane stuff you're going through. And the day will come where you'll look back on this and you'll be like, wow, that was actually not as bad as I thought it was. And
that's really true.
And if you have a problem in your marriage, they really have shown statistically, if you will stick that out 2 years, 3 years, and get through that speed bump, you will be so much happier, stronger on the other side. And it will get better. It will, things that used to bother me so much about my husband. So for instance, he loves to exercise. So he's kind of like an exercise fanatic. We've got equipment all throughout our house because we're in our 50s now and he's trying to keep us young and healthy. And he wants to be able to walk. You get it. So, and it would just drive me crazy. And now it's just you know what? I give in. I will do it. I'll do the exercise. I'll do it. And just things that bugged you so much in the early years, the more you're together, it takes you less time to recover. So that time will come. That time will come.
Well, and I do want to encourage the moms that are in the trenches and they just can't, the empty nester years just seems like decades away. Take this time and dream about what, future trips that you want to go on with your spouse. One day I want to go to Australia or I want to go to Hawaii, or what if we can go to Europe one day when the last kid, goes to college? That would be such a great trip. because, we didn't have any money when our kids were young like that, but we did dream. And now we're starting to fulfill those dreams.
Yeah.
And it's just so rich because we've been talking about it and planning it so long, it's just fun. So that's one thing they can do.
And one thing I write about in Making Marriage Easier, when you plan for a vacation, whether it's that big Europe trip or it's just like going in your state to the beautiful
Local beach.
City in your state. Yeah. But when you have a vacation, you enjoy it 3 times. You enjoy it, 1, in the anticipation. So even if you dream now for 20 years from now, boy, you got a lot of dreaming. That's good.
Yeah.
You enjoy it 2nd when you're actually there. And then you enjoy it 3rd, all the memory dividends of knowing you were there, talking about it, all the pictures, everything. So vacations are actually a really, really good investment that you enjoy 3 times.
There you go. I love that.
My husband loves that philosophy. He is our vacation planner on everything.
Awesome.
So,
Yes.
That's so awesome.
Well, Arlene, before we wrap up our time, I would love for you to tell us where our listeners can grab your book so we can all make our marriage easier, but also just be filled with some really great knowledge to fill our marriage with joy and excitement for all of the times that's in marriage.
Yes, Making Marriage Easier is the book. You can get it wherever you get books, whether that's Amazon, etc. Making Marriage Easier. And you can go to makingmarriageeasier.com and download free date night ideas, even if you only have 15 minutes or 30 minutes. So I got you, moms.
I love that.
So makingmarriageeasier.com.
Okay, thank you.
And then how
so
can
much.
you have a podcast? How can they find
the
you?
Happy Home podcast. So Happy Home. And I have had wonderful people on like Karen Stubbs. So that is all things marriage and parenting. So the Happy Home podcast. And then my name, arlenepellicane.com, will get you all sorts of stuff as well.
All sorts of stuff. She's amazing.
She is.
Truly. Well, thank you for being on the show. What a delight. I just love you so much, and you're just the best.
Yes, thank you, Arlene. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Karen. Love you guys.
All right. Have a
Thank you.
great day.